Yo, what's up guys? This is Astranox and I'm back for another Epic 7 video. So I got Zeno, max level 6 star, and this is the gear that I have on him. These are his stats: almost 15,000 health, defense over 1,000, low speed at 136, crit chance 94%, crit damage 153, effectiveness 33, effect resistance 77, and dual attack chance 9% because I'm using the Unity set. Alright, so let me show you the gear. Just pause if I go too quick. This is a two-piece of arena gear. Crit chance here from the raid and from Wyvern. I'm gonna use Ithaca Scepter because that's the better one that I have. Alright, so with these stats, let's see how he performs in Wyvern 10. So he will be paired with Angelica, no Diane, Angelica, and with Falconer Kluri and Kise. Now the gear that was on Diane is now on Angelica, and I do not have an attack buffer in this group on auto because I'm gonna run this on auto. There is, if let's say you have a similar group composition, you could trigger the Guardian #1 R key, and it will give you attack buff and crit chance buff, crit rate buff for 2 turns beside on the hero that you are using it on. It's gonna be only 1 turn. Alright, so let's look at his performance here. So Zeno is very strong for arena, especially if you don't have a bunch of heroes for arena. He's definitely going to be quite annoying to deal with. You could use him in arena offense if you want, on high speed, and you could have him initialize with the silence potentially, and which is gonna really like ease the battle. Like they won't be able to use their skills for 1 turn if it lands. His stuns are skill 1 are super annoying if he triggers them often. Now yeah, in terms of damage based on my stats, it's definitely not looking so high. Definitely not. Look at this. 1400 without defense down. It would be double that amount if defense down was applied. And his ultimate as well, the damage is not high. The bleeds are ticking for 384, something like that. But yeah, I mean, he's got bleed for 2 turns going for him in Wyvern. He's of the ice element. He's very easy to obtain, very easy to triple S memory imprint. So we can't overlook that. So he definitely can be used if you don't have anything better. He's definitely not going to die, that's for sure, compared to the other heroes on your team. I mean, you have to build him very tanky, but not only that, he also deals more damage when he has a bunch of health, so that's another plus. So he counters the Wyvern's element, being ice. He's very tanky. He's got 2 turn bleed, and you want to have 2 debuffs on the Wyvern in stage 9 and 10 because he will not double attack like now. My Kluri is actually not that tanky because I have her with 90-something% effectiveness for arena. She used to have like 14,000 health, but now she's down to 10,000, unfortunately. Alright, so just have Angelica heal Kluri again. So yeah, not having attack buff is definitely reducing the damage output of my team, but I mean, it's not affecting Zeno though. Really cool animation though on that skill. It just looks great, and you also see like the mouth, just like you see the unit that's about to be devoured. It's cool. So we got the bleed going. Now the boss only gonna attack once, but keep in mind that when you have a bleed on 1 turn left, it hits the boss. It will deal damage to the boss and it will go away before the boss attacks. So as you can see, he's gonna attack twice because the bleed doesn't count because it was it was consumed. The damage was applied already. So in terms of damage, he's doing, by being very tanky, he is doing more damage than supports like a healer or like a tank. Well, my tank anyway. Depend on which tank you're referring to. But I mean, he's not gonna do damage as a pure damage dealer, of course. But his kit is quite special. If you use him in arena, his skill 2 will trigger. It's gonna boost his defense by 5%, and his skill 3, his ultimate damage by 5%. So this stacks up to 10 times, and that's 50% defense increase, which is beautiful. You could potentially have it triggered over the course of a raid battle, or like from wave to wave, and the buff is gonna carry over when you're about to fight from one boss to the next. I mean, it's kind of hard to kill 2 boss in one run on a fresh labyrinth, but you can do it if you get 40 something morale. Anyways, here's the battle result. As you can see, almost 30,000, and yeah, like I said, like it's gonna do more damage than a support, and he's definitely not squishy. Now we could do another run, and then I'll show you the gear on the rest of my team. But for a hero that's super easy to obtain, I mean, we have 3 weeks to obtain him, and you can even get him out of the normal difficulty, and if you can clear hard after you clear hard difficulty or higher 40 times, you just get him. And then you need 6 of him total, so you need to get him once, and then 5 extra copies to triple S memory imprint him, because I was told that a 5-star memory imprint only requires a total of 6 of the same hero. So yeah, for a 4-star it's 7 total, and for a 3-star it's 8 total. And yeah, I mean, there's another thing, like Zeno. Let's talk about PvP arena and Guild Wars. His silence on skill 3, his ultimate, if you're fighting against someone that can only dispel one thing, well, you've got the bleed kind of protecting that could potentially get dispelled instead of the silence, so that's quite huge. If, let's say, it's not landing on the healer, or whoever can remove, can dispel, or a soul weaver with the wondrous vial potion, let's say you could get lucky and the bleed's gonna be taken off and not the silence. Or maybe the soul weaver, or whoever, the dispeller got the effect resisted. But like, that's a source of protection. The damage on the bleed is definitely not on the high end, but it has its use. Wyvern, I mean, can't overlook it. Now, yes, I'm using Ithaca's Scepter. What it does is it has a chance to reduce his cooldown by 1 turn. He only has 1 cooldown, which is his ultimate. Doesn't have a cooldown on skill 2, but it's useful. But with Abyssal Crown, you could have between 12% to 24% stun chance, increase in stun chance. So it's gonna stack with skill 1, and it can trigger from the ultimate. So you could have 18% at plus 15 enhancement on that Abyssal Crown. It's 18% chance on top of skill 1 stun chance, which goes between 25% and 35% if it's skilled up. So it starts to be pretty interesting, and if you put him on the counter set, like really annoying to deal with in arena, just landing stuns here and there, very, very annoying. And if you put him on counter, you don't need to have him on high speed. It's just going to be a chance for him to just counter and then trigger a stun, and potentially messing up the rotation of the enemy team. Buying time. Alright, so defense down, let's go. But let's say you could just pop, let's say you don't have an attack buffer in your group. It's just like a tip. Just use the first Guardian Archie, and he's gonna give you attack buff and crit rate buff. So let's say players that don't have Diane, and they're like, how do I replace Diane? Well, just use any healer and use the first guardian. You can do it that way. If the better setup, one of the better one, is of course to use 2 heroes like Angelica plus Yuna together. I mean, they're bringing much more to the table than just Diane. You got attack buff, you get speed buff, you got 2 heroes with 2 different sets of utilities. Yuna's just spamming area damage, and in Angelica's case, well, she can stun on skill 1. She has the barrier. As you can see, the strength of the barrier on my Angelica is actually quite good. I'll show you the stats right after this. And she is MVP quite often because, like, look at the healing. It's quite nice. She does a lot of healing. She only has skill ups on the on skill 3, and she's only plus 3. So yeah, took a bunch of damage. Zeno took damage there, and Kise doesn't really take damage often because she's mostly in stealth. But yeah, damage again. Yeah, not quite the same as a pure damage dealer, especially Kise that deals extra damage against barrier. But I mean, let's say they were it was always multiple packs of multiple enemies, and let's say his skill 2 was stacked to 10, then he would of course start doing more damage with his ultimate. And if you have skill enhancement, like, you can't compare him to a pure damage dealer. Look at my Kise. She's plus 4, plus 1, plus 4. She's got, like, that's her stats. And, like, imagine his skill 2 was built. Imagine if it was skilled up. Imagine if this was skilled up as well. And, like, it's gonna start doing more damage everywhere from the skill ups. And yeah, you could use him with Abyssal Crown. There's another thing, just before I show you the stats. There's something for Wyvern you can use. I have it, it's just I don't have it built, guys. Sorry. It would be Sierra Ren. Sierra Ren, you could have an extra chance to land a debuff. I mean, if it lands something like a stun or a silence, or like a debuff that the boss is immune to, it won't work. But you still have the chance to apply something the boss is not immune to. And if you use Sierra Ren with his skill 3, you have multiple chances to actually land a debuff, and it could start to be quite interesting. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But yeah, that Abyssal Crown is definitely gonna be super annoying to deal with in PvP. Especially if you get unlucky and the enemy team has him with a counter set. So yeah, we're gonna have to, like, counter him with debuff immunity. So yeah, I mean, you're getting effectiveness plus 14.4% on your other heroes, because this does not affect the hero that gives the memory imprint boost. Unfortunately, that's how it works in the game. So we saw his stats. I can re-show them at the end. So Kise, skill ups real quick, boom, and yeah, Zeno doesn't have anything. Kluri, Angelica, and let's see the gear. Just pause if I go too quick. Overall, for how easy he was to obtain, I would say he was definitely worth getting. Like, definitely, because you can use him in PvP for sure. And he can be used in other places, especially if you don't have, like, a bunch of heroes at your disposal. Alright, so let me show his gear once again. I mean, you could put him in the front line. You could have him definitely as your front liner, because he's so tanky, especially if you can trigger skill 2. And you, in that case, you could just put the Prophetic Candlestick on him. This goes up to 40% chance when it's plus 30 enhanced. which won't be too hard to do as a free-to-play player. Even I'm free-to-play, and it's now plus like it can be up to plus 30. I got quite a few. I mean, I got lucky to get that many, but over the course of like a few months, you'll just have it. So yeah, in terms of gear that you would put on him, it depends. Arena offense, definitely speed if you want to open up with him. Arena defense, you could go counter health, or you could go triple health, or there are so many ways you can build him. It depends on what substats you get on your gear, to be honest. Like you could go health hit. You could do, it depends. If you want him on damage, you might want to get some crit chance, or you could use a crit set, a health set. You know, you could just use leftover gear you have, because realistically you shouldn't put your best gear on him unless he was like your only 6-star. Let's say you're starting out, you're not lucky with the summons. I mean, yeah, at that point you could just get the arena gear, put that stuff onto him. So yeah, I mean, I'll make a guide for him now. That was just a quick video to sum up my thoughts about him. But so far so good, guys. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching. I'm Astranox. Like, comment, and subscribe for more. Press the bell icon if you'd like to be notified whenever I release a new video. And check out my other videos, my guides and all that. They're gonna be on the screen. So yeah, that's it for this one. Peace out for now.